thought I would do a little bonus video today, a little self-care Sunday. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie, and I haven't talked about this very much on this YouTube channel, so this is pretty personal. It's not going to have a lot to do with music. Today is March 24th, 2018, and on December 15th, 2017, I got shoulder surgery. It was a really long process to figure out what actually happened to my shoulder. That whole episode took like 3 months to figure out. It was really a pain. Maybe I'll explain a little more about that later in my life or on this channel, or I've written a whole blog story about it on my blog, so if you want to really know what happened, I'll link that. But basically I've been spending the last 3 months plus on disability leave, and that is really kind of strange. Today is the last day of my disability leave, so I thought I would do a little self-care Sunday video, a little bonus. Doesn't have much to do, again, doesn't have much to do with music. But I wanted to document how I am feeling about this and my thoughts on this experience, because what I'm thinking is that maybe there are some other people in the world who have experienced something similar, like they were not able to work for a long time and now they're going to go back, and I don't know, the mental processes that you kind of go through when you're making that decision. It's really interesting. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, what was I able to do during this time and why was I not able to work? My job is a pretty physical job, which you wouldn't really think about. I don't know. I teach elementary band and I teach elementary ukulele, so it's a really physical job when you really think about it. I travel to 2 different schools. I don't have a classroom in the way that a lot of teachers have classrooms that have all their stuff with them. Like all their stuff is stored somewhere. I actually have to take all my supplies and bring them with me. Like I have to decide what's important to carry. And there are a lot of just situations. It would have just been too difficult to teach band without having to set up chairs and stands and without being able to bring paper with me. I wasn't allowed to lift more than 5 pounds during this time. So I wasn't able to work. My job is so physical. There's that, and there's the lifting aspect, and then there's also the fact that when I teach band, a lot of my time is spent conducting or pointing at stuff on the board or demonstrating on my instrument or all kinds of stuff. Like I'm always using my arms, and that is just not conducive to healing your shoulder after a major surgery. When I decided to have the surgery, I didn't realize that it was such a major surgery. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought it wouldn't be such a big deal, but it was a really, really big deal to go through with this. Because it's painful. And I thought, especially for the first 6 weeks when I was still in the sling, I thought, oh, this won't be so bad. You know, I could totally go back to work early. No big deal. And then the whole strengthening part kind of comes into play, and that is a lot of work. Like, so much work. And it's hard, and it hurts, and I'm sore every day. And I thought, so I asked my doctor maybe 4 weeks ago, can I please take more time, because I don't think I can do my job the way that it needs to be done yet. And he said, sure, I'll give you another month. But if you feel like you want to go back and you feel like you're ready, just let me know and we'll write you a note. And I said, okay. So I did that, and I lost track sometime about 2 weeks ago. I thought that week was the next week. I lost track of the days. And so I thought, oh, next week is spring break, or the week after next is spring break. I'll just have one more week off and then we'll do spring break, so I come back and the kids will be fresh off their break and it'll be all good. I was wrong about when spring break was. So I thought that, so I asked for the note. I made the plans to go back, and then realized that I would have 1 week of work before spring break. And it's turning out to be that I'm not feeling incredibly strong right now. I'm not feeling like it's not going to be easy to go back. Emotionally, I need to go back. Emotionally, I miss my students and I miss teaching, and I miss being able to speak in a regular cadence that keeps people's attention. That's one of the reasons that I started talking to YouTube. I started working on this channel because I wanted to regain that skill of speaking, because when you're alone for 3 months only talking to your spouse and your roommate and your pets, it's really hard to maintain attention and engagement. And I worked very hard for the past 7 years on developing that skill. So those skills are really easily lost. I wrote about that also in another blog called Mental Muscles. You learn how to think a certain way and speak a certain way, and you develop those skills, and when you don't use them, they go away. It's just like anything else. It's like when I didn't use my arm for 7 weeks, and then I had to start strengthening again. The skills that I had developed in strengthening my arm went away, and I had to relearn how to use everything. So there's that challenge. I have to say, having this disability leave has been a big privilege, because I've had the time to figure out what exactly is important to me. What do I really want to focus my energy on? A long time ago, I was very, very concerned about the environment and the state of our earth and the state of how we as citizens are consuming so much and allowing this consumption to consume us in a way. So I had the space finally to think about that and to really, really look at that, and I had the space to make those changes in my life, and I really appreciate this time for that. I understand that very few people have this opportunity to make those kinds of changes, and so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to be a voice for that. Part of me thinks that I did start this YouTube outlet to spread that message as well. But then I realized I would reach more people if I actually used my own expertise in my field and use that as a platform to spread other kinds of messages and food for thought. So that's where I was coming from with that. I've been posting a lot on my Instagram about the steps that I'm making to live a more sustainable lifestyle, and I will continue to do that because I really care about that issue. I want it to be an approachable issue. But being a music educator is very, very important to me too, because music is an outlet for people, and I believe it should be an outlet for anyone who wants it to be an outlet. I think music should be accessible for people, and I need to keep doing what I do to make it accessible, to make it something that my students who do not have a lot of privileges, sometimes they don't have a lot of things handed to them. I need to be able to present music to my students as a tool to make their lives better. Like that's something that they have, that they don't need a lot of money for, besides just the investment of having an instrument or having their voice or putting some time into anything that brings them joy. I need to go back to that. An example of the kinds of realities my students face, because I live in this interesting town where we have a really large migrant population. A lot of students whose families come here for a certain season where the jobs are, and then they go somewhere else for a while. I was talking with my sub about a student who brought in an instrument use form. We finally got some more instruments for the students to use, and he turned in his form, and for the address he just wrote car. And my student lives in his car, and I remember this student because he's been coming to band consistently. He always comes to class, and every week he would ask, "Are the instruments here yet? Are the instruments here yet?" And I'd say, "No, I'm so sorry, they're not here yet. But I will let you know when they are, because I want you to have one." I had no idea that was what his situation was. And then the instruments came, and he turns in this form, and this is a student that really, really needs music. He needs something that is going to be positive in his life. He needs something that is going to make him feel like he's part of something, because he is. He's a very, very important part of something. He's an important part of my class. And just remembering that that is the kind of reality my students live in, it shakes me to my core. And it makes me realize how important my job is, because the arts are so important to humanity, and understanding the conditions of fellow humans and understanding where people come from. And with music there's this layer of accountability, and this is an opportunity for this student to have something beautiful in his life, and he needs that. My students need that. So that's where I am this morning. I might come back a little bit later in the afternoon. Today I have a rehearsal, and I talk about how I am feeling physically, because that's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. So Self-Care Sunday. That's where I am.